a great day to be at the Fund Convention in Orlando, Florida. We're here with Dennis Hengeveld from World Banknote Auctions. Dennis, first off, tell us a little bit about the company.
So we got started probably 6-7 years ago. Initially we were always on eBay doing auctions, and we moved to our own website about a year ago. So right now we're having auctions every 3 weeks, what we call our live sales on Thursdays. And then about once a month we do what's called a select sale, which is on Sunday nights. So probably every sale is about 300 to 500 notes in it. World notes, a little bit of US, in low grades, high grades, everything.
Okay, so then we've got something coming up because you maintain an aggressive schedule here. What can you tell us about some of the highlights coming up of an upcoming sale?
So one of the ones I have that we just got in on consignment is this Palestine 1927 5-pound, which is the first date for Palestine. It's extremely rare. There's probably about 15 known, maybe less than that. You see the 1929s, you see the 1939s. 1927 is just a very rare date. They got used, they got abused, and they were turned in and destroyed. So to find one, especially in nice, very fine condition, is very difficult. So we're very happy to have this, and this will come up probably in the next auction.
Wow, that's great, because one of the things about world currency is the idea that it's just not so plain Jane compared to some places. Now, I know there are a lot of nations that really put a lot of detail and a lot of colorful type activities. Can you give us some examples of some of these type things?
Yeah, so here's one. This is a very popular series from Indonesia that came out in about 1957 that feature native animals. They're very well detailed. Now these are special because the series started with a 5 rupiah, which was not really used because of inflation. So really the lowest denomination that was used was a 50 rupiah, but they did print a 10 and a 25, which is what I have here. So they're very detailed, but these, this one is used, this would have been used, it was only used for 3 days, which makes it extremely rare. This is a specimen, which is kind of like a prototype that the printers would make as an example. That one is also extremely rare because inflation went so quick at that time in Indonesia that by the time these were printed they were no longer needed. So that's why they're extremely rare. So this series is interesting. These are very difficult to find. The other series, the other denominations of the series are a lot easier, and they have the same kind of detail. They have different animals on it, ranging from monkeys to I think there's an alligator on one, there's an elephant, there's a lizard on another. So it's just a beautiful series, very well engraved, and it's very popular right now.
And indeed, with the great detail they have to them, of course, the elephant, you went ahead and said that, so now my wife put it on her hit list. But anyway, I mean, the idea, looking at these, I see a couple of different numbers here, the 63 and the 65. Can you explain a little bit about how grading is done on currency?
So if your listeners or viewers are familiar with coin grading, coin grading goes from 1 to 70, and currency kind of adapted the same scale. So anything up to 58 is going to be used in some shape or form. It's going to have a little centerfold. It might have a corner band for the really high 50 numbers, and the lower you get, the more circulated you get. You can have a VF. That's going to look like a bill that's been in somebody's pocket for a while. And then on the other end of the scale, you've got 60 to 70, which are the unused notes. Now they may have a little bit of handling. That's fine for coins, just like back marks on coins. That's fine on currencies, just like back marks on coins. But the higher you get, the more pristine it has. And by the time you get to 67, 68, really the only thing you're going to look for is good embossing, and you want to make sure that the image is perfectly centered. And the better centered it is, the higher the number is going to be.
I would think it'd be the older the note would be, the chance that it's going to be in a lower grade, but there certainly has to be some older notes that are higher grade.
Yes, they definitely exist. So because they were used, a lot of times what you'll see, somebody would have gone to the bank back in the day and they wanted to save money, they didn't want to keep it at the bank, but they may not have been able to find coins. Well, they would get, a pack of notes. And a lot of times, 20, 30 years later, they find these notes, and that's what comes to the market. So a lot of times on older notes and high grade, you're going to be able to, they all have serial numbers. So you'll see a run of maybe 10 or 20 that are very close. Well, those were probably put aside back at the time by somebody, but that doesn't always happen. A lot of times, they get used, and as a general rule, a lot of this had a higher face value than coins. So to put it aside as a collection, not very people, not many people did that.
Is serial number as important in world currency as it seems to be in U.S. currency?
It is. It depends on the country. Some countries like Philippines and Indonesia, they will sell the low numbers to collectors. So those don't really have the value that U.S. have, but other countries, they will not sell them. They'll just put them into circulation, and they're going to be difficult, and they're always going to be in demand.
You provided some great insight, Dennis. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.